In 2018, Dylan Roth and Dalton met when their two rock and roll bands played a gig together in New York City. Now, in 2020X, the patrons that be have called upon them to produce a special bonus podcast where they talk about movies and stuff. Are you afraid of us?
Hey!
Oh, hello.
Welcome to Are You Afraid of Dylan and Dalton?
Hello, main feed.
That's right. We're putting this one out on the main feed since it's the only thing that we'll have out that's new in the month of September. Sorry, in the month of August.
Yes, while we cook up the new thing. We are currently about 2/3 of the way through the script, I would say.
Yeah, and I think it's coming along really well, but we're going to try and make sure we can tighten it up as best as we can because it will hopefully, for a lot of people, be the first time that they hear one of our stories, and we got to nail it.
And for those of you who it's not going to be your first time, we have to make sure we sell you on continuing to listen, that this is going to be something as good, if not better, than the Dark Universe, which we actually do. We are hoping it's better because we know what we're doing now.
There's a little bit less pressure in that we managed to build the Dark Universe, our Dark Universe, off of a movie that almost all of our listeners agree is bad.
Now we get to hopefully start with one that you at least think is as good as you normally think our pitches are.
But if it's not that good, you know we're able to turn that shit around.
Yes.
You know that if what we come up with in the first episode is kind of mid, which I really hope it's not.
Yeah.
We've done better with worse.
Yes.
So
if we give you a new Nick Morton, we can revive him.
Yes.
We can make him interesting. Also, because when you listen to Are You Afraid of the Dark Universe from the beginning, there is definitely a growing pains that happens as we figure out what the show is.
Yeah.
Now we know what the show is. So we're going to come out of the gate with the kind of quality and the structure that you expect from us.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot easier to, frankly, we're just a lot better at this.
Yeah.
And y'all have been really helpful in kind of teaching us what is good about the show and helping us to figure out what we're doing. So, yeah, I'm stoked.
But enough about the future.
Let's talk about the
past.
Pez.
Oh.
I was going to say the
Pez?
present. Let's talk about the Pez.
Let's talk
about Nick Morton Pez dispensers. They're flying off the shelves.
I did have a Pez dispenser collection in high school. It wasn't very big, but I was inspired by the band Less Than Jake, who's one of my favorite bands. And so I did just try to buy every Pez dispenser I found. Didn't have any rare ones. I just had like whatever was at the CVS.
Did you have like a favorite, though? Did you have like one that you liked?
Honestly, I don't even think... I think I was more interested in the idea of being like quirky enough to have a Pez dispenser collection than I was in actual Pez dispensers.
Well,
so none of them have really
bud.
stuck in my memory. But yeah, we're here doing the bonus pod. I'm exhausted. I recorded a music video yesterday. We're playing a show together tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow night we're playing a show. Thanks to anybody who was there. You've missed it already if you weren't. One thing I wanted to make sure we did today, Dalton, because in the last couple episodes, the bonus pod, we forgot we haven't done a Bev check in a while.
That's right.
So
you actually did bring a Bev. You were
packed in a
prepared.
Bev. I brought, I carefully carried this can of Mountain Dew Baja Blast in my bag.
Yes.
And it did not explode when I opened it.
You're on a Baja Blast kit.
I am getting Baja Blasted on the regular, my friend.
How has that been for your marriage?
Been fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That just seems like way more caffeine than you usually have.
I am careful about how much I have and when and what hours of the day.
Oh, great.
You know, and also 3 days a week, Jenna's working outside the house.
So you can bounce off the walls.
Absolutely, yeah.
Totally. I'm boring. I'm just drinking water. But what I have been getting into recently is the La Colombe canned cold brews.
Okay.
They've started stocking them in my work fridge, which was really dangerous. So now I am in the habit of like having a cold brew in the morning when I wake up and then also getting a La Colombe cold brew at the office.
Oh, God.
So that's why I'm drinking water, because I have already had the afternoon La Colombe cold brew.
I remember you saying, I guess I'll make a decaf coffee, and you're like, no.
Yeah,
I
like
can't.
even just I've already had so much coffee today, and we're going to the movies after this. We're going to see Weapons
We'll
together.
probably have more soda.
I'm gonna have more soda.
I'm gonna maybe not have more soda.
The other thing I realized, we're playing this gig tomorrow. I need to not drink so much caffeine for my voice. I tried to sing. I almost hurt myself trying to sing my set after 2 coffees because the caffeine just constricts my vocal
and
cords.
I'll tell you what else, the acid in coffee is not good for you either.
Yeah. So
it's hard trying to be like, I've been trying to compensate for the amount of like acid in my diet for like before I play shows. I like to do an alkaline water.
Yes, you have tummy problems.
Yeah. So
you got some tummy acid.
I pick up a big thing of Sick Boy water, and
it's a big No Jersey thing. Doesn't like most of the No Jersey members have like acid reflux problems?
I mean, most of us are, I don't know, we're just old and busted.
Yeah,
like,
you're just
we had to cancel a couple practices in the last couple in this summer because one or another of us had fucked up our back.
Yeah. And I've been driving another friend who fucked up his back to and from the acupuncturist for the last like 3 weeks. So don't enter your 30s, everybody.
Yeah, just make sure to.
Just kidding. Your 30s are your best decade.
Do the right thing when you're 20. No, I'm happier now than I've ever been in my life, and I think my 30s have been the best time that I've had. So.
Take it from your friends in Are You Afraid of Dylan and Dalton? Don't kill yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the message of Hell on Earth.
Exactly. You heard it here first. No one else has ever said this to you.
It's a bunch of dead people telling you not to kill yourself.
Yes.
Because all there is hell, and that's the message.
Yes.
Yeah. You're better off here.
All right, so now let's move on to our first recurring segment, Dylan and Dalton at the movies.
The movies.
You and I, having finished our previous feature screenplay, in the gap between finishing that one and finishing the next one, had some time to go to the movies for a change.
Yes, I haven't been editing a bunch of episodes. We have been writing, but not at quite the same furious pace. So I have actually seen some new movies recently.
What have you seen of late that struck your fancy, Dalton?
Let's see. I saw 28 Years Later at a drive-through. Not a drive-through, drive-in.
You get to watch 2 minutes.
Yeah, you sit at that window. There's a window for every 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
you keep moving forward.
Next, at the end, between reels, it just says "next window, please."
Well, no, what it is every window is a frame, and you just have to drive really fast.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. That should be what they do in Germany now. Instead of like we have drive-in theaters, they should have Autobahn cinemas.
Autobahns, yes.
All right.
And like they tell you the exact miles per hour you need to be at.
Yes, and if you and you have a Bluetooth speaker that is attached to your speedometer, and so it plays you the movie at the speed, or the sound slows down or speeds up depending on the.
That's
okay,
good.
If there's any mad German billionaires out there who would love to get involved in an insane stunt with the two of us,
watching Sorcerer while driving as fast as you can. No, I saw 20 Years Later at the drive-in. Really enjoyed it. I thought Ray Fiennes especially was fantastic in that. Saw The Phoenician Scheme. Really liked it. We're moving fast because we've seen a lot of things.
I also really like The Phoenician Scheme.
Saw Jurassic World Rebirth, and it was dog shit.
I don't know why you did that.
Ella made me do it because she loves the dinosaurs.
Did she have a good time?
She had a good time, but she acknowledges it's a really bad movie.
Okay, at least she had a good time.
Yeah, there was one moment in it that made me feel something. Unfortunately, it was like in the middle, and it was just very brief. It is mostly absolutely nothing. I saw Megan 2.0. It was fine.
It's fine.
I finally saw Presence.
I still have not.
I do want to. I've seen a lot of people giving mixed reviews to Presence.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking loved it.
Okay.
I really, really loved it. I thought the angle on the ghost story was phenomenal, and it has such a good twist ending that like I didn't even think there was going to be a twist ending.
Well,
and then when
now
it happened,
I know there's going to be a twist
I think you'll be
ending.
satisfied with it though.
Okay.
Like it's a really emotionally and plot satisfying twist ending.
Okay,
it doesn't feel like any rugs are being pulled out from under you. It feels, once it happens, it's the kind of twist that feels inevitable. And you're like, oh, of course.
That's the best kind.
And
Anyone
you
who
can
doesn't
rewatch
know-
the movie
yeah.
and it would be enriched.
Anybody
by
who doesn't know
watching
what we're talking about, by the way, Presence is one of the 2 Soderbergh movies that came out this year. It is the one that is a ghost story told from the first-person perspective of the ghost.
Yes. I really enjoyed that. I rewatched Michael Clayton. That's neither here nor there.
It's so fucking good.
Tony Gilroy, the
That's
goat.
a movie that if you had not seen it, I was going to be on the Dalterion Collection.
Oh, it's
I
so
love
good.
Michael Clayton.
We're going to talk about Fantastic Four and Superman. I saw that. The movie I really want to talk about, though, and I don't really have too much to say, but the people, I'm sorry to everyone out there who has been raving about this movie because I didn't believe you. It's the 6th entry in a franchise that has been mid at best.
Oh, yes.
And so when people were going gonzo for this movie, I was like, I don't believe it. I am kicking myself so hard for not seeing Final Destination Bloodlines in the theater. That would have been such an incredible theater experience.
I did not see it because I was also like, this is not for me. I've also never seen a single Final
You don't
Destination
have
movie.
to. This is the best one.
Okay, listen, that's great. My whole thing is that weirdly, even though you're the one with the well-documented fear of death, this is the kind of thing that freaks me out because supernatural horror is usually built around the idea of something that's not real killing you. Final Destination is all just, these are the ways that real things can kill you.
And that's why I think the first one would really scare you the way it scared me. When I was in high school and saw the first one, it really freaked me out. The first one is the only other one that I would say is like super worth watching. It takes the premise very seriously, though, and so that's why it freaked me out. At this point, the directors know this is a Rube Goldberg game.
Okay, because I know in the trailers, each of the trailers shows you a different, like, really elaborate death for somebody, and you spend the first minute of the trailer trying to determine which one of these things is going to be the thing that kills them.
Exactly.
And you're wrong.
Now, that's the thing, is like, I know you don't like mean horror movies.
Not typically.
This is a really mean movie, but it has such a sense of humor about it that, like, it's a cat and mouse game where you're the mouse. This movie is just batting you around for its entire runtime. It is just like, I know what you expect from this movie. I am going to give you so many kind of false teasers and keep you guessing and then spin it around on you at the end. It's playing practical jokes on the audience in every scene in a way that is always so well done and so satisfying. You have to be like, God damn, that was mean, but you got me. Like it has a sense of humor about it. And that's why I think it's less scary than like the first one. The first one, which is really just about like death is coming for these kids. This one is like playing a game of Mousetrap, just a really gory game of Mousetrap. But it's written very well. It's paced super well. It is just a roller coaster, Final Destination 3 reference of a movie that I had a fucking blast. And it's cruel to the characters. It's cruel to me personally. But they're having so much fun and they're so good at it that I can't help but be like, God, I got to watch that again. Because like it's really well done. I'm excited that they just got renewed for a new one. They're going to do the 7th one as well. Hopefully they can keep that energy going better than the Scream directors did after Scream 5. And the last thing I'll say that I've been watching, not exactly a movie, Interview with the Vampire. I've been raving about this on the Discord. I can't believe how good it is.
Everyone says that it's great. I will one day probably try to watch it.
It's pretty short. Like the first season, I think, is 7 episodes. The second one is 8 episodes, and that's all there is so far.
It hits the barrier for me of having to subscribe to a new thing.
Well, that's why you...
Wow, that whole part was just censored.
Yeah. There's a thing that I have nowadays when I see people raving about a show like this online where I do go, now is this movie or is this TV show good or is it just gay?
I think the same thing, Dalton.
And for example, Yellow Jackets, gay show, not a good show. And I will say that here on the public feed. I think Yellow Jackets is a really bad, but it is also gay. So with Interview with the Vampire, I was like, I will let people make their fan edits or whatever. But eventually enough people raved about it, including friend of the show, Gita Jackson, who's a big fan.
A huge fan.
And so I watched it
a lot.
And from episode 1, it is fantastic. But the heights it reaches in season 2 are like, I just watched an episode where I was like, this is unbelievable television. Unbelievably well written. It is emotionally scary. It is horror scary. It is devastatingly sad. It is such a tightrope walk of an episode that like has you just like bowled over with how well it's executed. I'm in the Immortal Universe, as they're calling it over on AMC Plus. Except for that, I don't know. Apparently, the other Witches show is really bad.
I don't think it's long for this world, right? Isn't it done?
It might be. But Interview
Not
with the Vampire
everything has to be a universe.
Yeah. Well, actually,
some things, however, should be.
We should censor that. There are actually really good universes still to come.
Yes. All right. So I also got to the movies a lot.
Yes. What did you say?
My list. I won't bring as long of a list to the table. We'll talk about 2 movies that hit me in the same way, which is a movie that I thought was good and also kind of hated at the same time. That would be the first being Eddington.
I need to see it. That's on my list.
On every technical level, a really good movie. The performances are amazing. It's tight in the way that is like a really good sort of comedy thriller. This is the Ari Aster movie about it's sort of like a Western set in May of 2020.
It's COVID Western.
Yeah. So the goal of this movie is sort of to create this kind of thriller around how crazy people have been since this point in time. And it's really good at humanizing people that I would, in my everyday life, struggle to humanize and relate to. Namely, like, people who were anti-mask but not evil. Like just misled or confused or just didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's so good at showing so many different sides of our current like prism of madness. It's so good at showing the complexity of all these points of view, right? Everybody on this from sort of the far right thing to the center right to the mealy-mouthed centrist and liberal stuff. They're all complicated and their motivations are complicated, except for the teenagers who get involved in the Black Lives Matter movement. They're just assholes and idiots. And that I recognize that when I was trying to do something like this in Night of the Living Dead, in my version of Night of the Living Dead, I fell into the trap of, especially in the draft that we didn't publish because it was just not very good. I fell into the trap of making the conservative characters too cool because I was trying to be fair and making the progressive characters kind of suck more than I normally would. So I know you can fall into that trap. However, I sat down with you, read half that script and said, oh, oops, and then toned it back a lot.
Well, it's always frustrating, I think, as a creative person when you see someone at a professional level making mistakes that you have already learned from.
Yeah.
I'm this way with songwriting a lot of times. There are certain songwriting quirks that I have had in the past and then when I hear it, other people might not even notice it. But because it's like something that I've done and it was like, I can't do that anymore. I'm like, well, fuck you. Like, it just makes me mad, to kind of hear it. And so, like, I'm not saying that's not a valid criticism. Of course it is. But I think
it bothers me
things
a
are like
lot,
doubly bothering when it's like, well, I did this before and I fixed it.
There is no objective reading of a film, right?
Sure.
You can try as a storyteller to be as objective as possible, but your viewership is always going to have a bias. And so what I kind of try to look for from a critical eye when you look at something like this that is trying to be fair is, how is it going to be read, most likely from my understanding of these philosophies, by each sort of point of view being represented? And where I landed basically was, it's a coin flip whether you on the left are going to find it funny or fair, because you already agree with, like, I saw people defending it being like, yeah, but they're right about everything. I'm like, yeah, you think they're right about everything. And yes, the plot sort of bears out that they're right about everything, but you're filling in a lot of gaps, right? And whether or not the cause they're fighting for is right, it really is just a story of a couple of horny teenagers who are getting involved in activism because they're trying to get laid. That's the angle that they have, right?
Yeah.
And it's all very self-serving. And isn't it weird that this white guy would be fighting against the interests of his own people? What a fucking weirdo, right? Everyone else gets criticized plenty, right? It's not like it's showing Joaquin Phoenix as this confused anti-mask mayoral candidate and saying he's all great. No, he's the butt of almost every joke. But he's also like the central character of the movie and gets a lot of sympathy and complexity, as he should. It's a good part of the movie. It's just this one thing that was missing pissed me off.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we have Oh Hi, a comedy I was super looking forward to, starring and co-written by Molly Gordon. It's a comedy, a sort of absurd comedy with kind of a horror premise, which is this woman goes on this wonderful getaway weekend with this guy she's been seeing. And like the climax of it, they find some like S&M gear and bondage gear in the place. She ties him up. They have sex. And she's like, wow, what a great first weekend as a couple. And while still tied up, he says, I don't really see us as a couple. And she flips out, leaves him tied up, and decides, I'm going to spend the next day proving that we'll work as a couple while he's trapped there and he can't escape, right? And so it's a really funny character study, and it's a really funny sort of inversion of and playing around with the sort of entitlement that men tend to have to sex from women. But in this case, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, this is taking a lot of the same sort of behaviors and the rationalization and the ways that men tend to like sort of defend their behavior, or the sort of she was asking for it type stuff, or you were fine with it up to X or Y, how come you didn't say anything? That kind of stuff that they use to kind of defend themselves when accused with this assault. But for romantic relationships and for like commitment in a relationship. And for most of the movie, I'm like, oh no, the double standard of this is the point, right? It's funny rather than scary because the guy is tied up and he's not considered, and he would be considered the more physically threatening of the two of them. And obviously we are not supposed to think the woman is right. And it is really funny, and the jokes are really funny. And the more fucking Looney Tunes it is, the better it is. The problem is they also want to be a fucking A24 movie. It has to be like deep and meditative also. It has to be a movie for adults. And so they end up getting way too sincere by the end of it, and then giving this movie an ending that is absolutely unsustainable. It's not a wacky enough movie to make this ending work. It's sincere on a level where the parallels you've been drawing, it's just impossible for me to accept where these characters end up with each other. And it made me like really mad. I think it's really good, but I think the way that it ends is like infuriating to me. And it's the kind of thing where if you were to do the exact same movie, and you don't have to necessarily flip the whole thing about like, what does this character, the male character kind of has a typical male want, and a female character has sort of a typically acceptable female want. If you didn't flip the wants and you just flipped exactly that, nobody watching this movie would find this remotely acceptable. And I understand that the double standard is the point for most of the movie. But I was so fucking mad at the end of the movie that it soured how funny the fucking movie was. Anyway, someone who's seen it, discuss it with me.
Well, go see it and see if it makes you mad.
You should go see it because it's a well-made independent movie. I don't think because I fucking it frustrates me. Same thing with Eddington. These are both good movies that made me fucking mad. We've talked about this for too long. We need to move on to the next segment.
Yeah.
By that we mean we need to actually talk about the thing you guys probably want to hear us talk about, which is the two big superhero movies that just came out.
We're going to have to rush past this. We both thought they were fine.
We
thought they were both fine. I thought they were better than recent superhero movies that have come out, but I don't know. I don't think either of us were like recaptured the energy we had in early MCU. I think Fantastic Four did feel more like a pre-Endgame MCU movie, like when they were still trying to give each movie like its own personality.
Yes, absolutely.
Instead of giving everything the MCU personality, which was great.
Has a look and feel all its own. It has a structure that is different,
and all those things are really good.
Yep, the chemistry between the actors is terrific. All of the space shit is really cool.
It's even kind of refreshing how one of its weaknesses are the quips. Because normally MCU movies are so quippy. I found that Fantastic Four had a real hard time finding a button on scenes that were really satisfying. Like they would often there would be the button that was kind of a quip, but it just for some reason it was never like cringy, like, so that just happened kind of stuff that people, put on the MCU.
It just wasn't that snappy.
The snappiness didn't land, which was kind of interesting for an MCU, but
I'll
I
take
thought it was good.
Warm over snappy if I had to pick one or the other. It's a really warm movie. It's also weird to have a Marvel movie where the weakness is not a lot of action in it. Not a lot of set-piece driven storytelling.
I actually didn't even see that as a weakness.
No, I mean, all right,
I think some people,
I think it's the rare Marvel thing where I'm watching the movie and thinking this should have been a 6-episode miniseries, whereas normally you're watching a Marvel series and thinking this should be a fucking movie and this is dragging like hell. I understand why it's not a movie because I don't think people would buy tickets to it.
Yeah.
But the Fantastic Four thing, there are these sort of jumps in time that are not a narrative problem, but they are a character problem, where it feels like sometimes what's missing, particularly with Sue, is I need to see her get from here to there.
I think the criticisms of Sue being that her character is sort of minimized into just sort of being mom, like her role on the team is mom, are valid. And I would have liked to see a little more complexity from what they were giving her. Vanessa Kirby, of course, is
she did great.
Phenomenal.
Everybody did great.
Yeah, everyone's really good in it.
What that didn't do, this is going to be a good segue, I think, into Superman, because what Fantastic Four First Steps did for me that I think was kind of neat was it gave me the feeling of the way that most people experience getting into a comic book series, which is they pick up the first issue of a new run, right?
Yeah.
Or they pick up a trade paperback in the middle of something. They're not starting from the beginning. Most people who get into superhero comics are not starting at issue 1 of anything.
Yeah. This was a universe in progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it kind of made me feel like this is part 2 in a trilogy, like a pretty solid part 2 of a trilogy. I'm like, kind of would have liked to see the first one. And I wish the third one was coming and wasn't just going to be Avengers Doomsday, where they'll have to share it with 38 other characters.
Yeah. It sucks that they ran kind of by their own design, ran out of runway, because both this movie and Thunderbolts left me with I am excited to see what happens next, except I know that they're dead ending at Doomsday, where neither of them are going to have the room to really stretch stretch
Sure.
out and find themselves.
They can get sequels, but it'll be like Guardians 3, where it's like, okay, after the big thing happened, now we're doing another movie. You don't
Both
really
of those
get the
movies,
beginning, middle, and end.
It really, I wish that like the last few years of the MCU didn't happen and we just went into like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four.
Hey, great news. That's what they're going to decide happened.
Yeah,
so
basically.
After Secret Wars, you can bet that most of those movies didn't count anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
But Superman, on the other hand, Superman has that same feeling, except for it mostly made me like really excited about the universe that it was being set in.
Yes, it sold me on the James Gunn DC universe.
As someone who's been a big DC guy from for as far back as he can remember, this felt like the universe that I grew up reading and watching in cartoons. Not exactly like it, not in a boring way, but it was the kind of thing where like, yeah, it's kind of a Marvel is supposed to be the world outside your window, and DC is a land of fantasy. And DC movies usually run from that as fast as they can because Warner Brothers, by and large, is embarrassed of their comic books. Now they're not, or at least they're not run by someone who is.
Yeah.
And it really felt like a fun introduction to a new version of the DC universe that I wanted to see more of. Obviously, this movie is sort of a backdoor pilot to anything that Mr. Terrific is in, and it worked. I want to see it.
He's great.
That movie had a sense of joy to it. It's, of course, extremely heavy-handed in its themes.
Hey, I was fine with that. Look,
I have to remember these movies are also they're supposed to be legible to children. So
this movie was more blunt about its leftist politics than a Dylan Roth script. And
okay,
I love seeing that on the big
leftist
screen.
is maybe putting it a little hard. We'll say
compassionate politics.
Yes, compassionate politics, and I would say left-leaning liberal.
Yes,
not going to say
left-leaning.
leftist.
Yeah, that's fair.
The main problem with both of these is really going to be that most people talking about them haven't seen any other movies, and they're only going to talk about these two movies, and they're going to say that this is the best movie or the worst movie based on comparing them to the same fucking movies. And we're going to tell you the truth, which is that they're fine.
I don't even have that problem with them. I think, the superhero furor is whatever it is online or offline or in the popular culture. I know where I'm kind of at with them, which I think I do have a little bit of superhero fatigue, mostly because it does feel like a lot of angles that are also going to make a lot of money have been done already. And so
now they have to get creative,
which is a tall ask for Hollywood right now. And I think these movies did find new creative angles. But in a way where a lot of it also still felt familiar enough that I wasn't blown away. They did kind of rekindle my faith, though. I am on board for the James Gunn DC universe. I thought it was fun enough for that, and I want to see where he goes. I'm back on the MCU. Like, I think both Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four were enough to get me like excited about seeing the next thing. I wish it wasn't Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, but like I'm more invested now in the characters that have been set up very recently than I have been in years, So maybe it's just going to take a little more time for the sort of weariness to fall off. But yeah, I thought they were a good time at the movies.
Sure, and that's the bar that they should have to hit, right?
But they didn't have me hooting and hollering like Final Destination Bloodlines.
Also, we're out of time in this section, but sorry, baby. It's very good. It's very moving and very funny in a way that you won't expect it to be funny, but it's funny. Go see that.
All right, we got a studio mandate.
Let's go to studio mandates. This studio mandate comes to us from Cadel. We're doing Harry and the Hendersons.
Cadel, I can't believe you didn't pick The Dark Tower. I know that you have been excited about the possibility of our next universe being The Dark Tower. Unfortunately, it will never happen because Dylan would have to read 7 books.
That's just not possible.
7 very long books.
What if we had to do a Dark Tower thing, but we had to use the Dark Tower movie with Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, I would put a bullet in my mouth. I would not forget the face of my father. I would shoot with my heart, and I would put that bullet right in my skull because that is one of my most hated films of all time.
It's so hard to imagine having a strong feeling about that movie at all. But I imagine that if you love the books,
the people that love the books,
denied you a version of film series based on that book series that you would like. Okay, but we're not doing The Dark Tower.
No.
We are doing Harry and the Hendersons. The rules for this one were it had to be in the dark universe and that Bigfoot still had to be sweet and friendly. We could not reimagine Harry and the Hendersons with a Bigfoot that was just mean and ate
I put a
people.
temporary title, by the way, when I saved this as Harry and the Wickermans.
Love it.
Great. That's the title of the episode.
If you are new to the bonus pod, what we do on Studio Mandate is, at the request of one of our top tier patrons in terms of money, we love you all.
But still very affordable, wink.
Yes, $25. You get to tell us one movie we have to do a loose pitch for a Dark Universe remake for, or in the future, remakes under other circumstances. Who knows?
But wait, I thought the Dark Universe was over.
Not on this
more
show,
pitches
Dalton.
on the bonus pod?
On the bonus pod, where we're just shooting the shit and talking about movies rather than writing out entire audio dramas to perform that infringe on the existing copy. Here, we can just do it the way a guest does, a guest pitch. So, Harry and the Hendersons. Dalton, let's tell our audience what Harry the Hendersons is about.
Harry and the Hendersons is an E.T. alike from the mid-90s about... Right?
1987.
1987, really. It feels like a 90s movie. So it's actually closer to E.T. than I thought. About a family who is out camping/hunting in the woods, and they hit a Bigfoot with their car. They bring it home and find out he is still alive, and he is friendly, and they name him Harry, and they try to get him to leave, and then they find out that there's a local Bigfoot hunter who's hunting him, so they go to try to help him, and then the family sort of helps show that hunter that Harry is a good guy, and he's not just a wild beast, and we should all stop eating animals.
And you know that he's good because he's got human teeth.
He has human teeth and a pretty smile. And look, I think we both think this is pretty not a good movie. But man, Harry looks great.
Harry's great looking at performance.
We got
Kevin Peter Hall, who was also the Predator in Predator.
And effects by Rick Baker.
Yeah,
the
really
great horror makeup artist Rick Baker, who also did An American Werewolf in London, very famously. Rick Baker did the effects, and basically my review of this movie is anytime Harry is on screen, it is a delight. I love watching Harry make his goofy faces and do funny stuff and wreck the house. Anytime Harry is off screen, I am asking the movie, where is Harry? Get Harry back here. I don't care about anyone else. John Lithgow plays the dad in this, and he's basically he's the mythical centrist voter that Democrats are convinced exists, which is like, he works at a gun store and he's teaching his son to hunt, but also with a little bit of poking, you can make him a vegan. Like he's like this, right?
But this is like one of the things that makes the most 1987 type thing, because it is right before The Simpsons takes off, right? Right before The Simpsons happens, right? This is the sitcom American Family of its time, and that every character is perfectly within the archetype of like the nuclear family, but it's just on the edge of really satirizing it. It's still kind of like we're making fun of each of the individual units, but we're not making fun of like, this is the American family? What the fuck is this?
The little boy, instead of being like a lovable scamp like Bart Simpson, is a fascist.
He's just awful.
The little boy is seriously like what's Jeffrey Tremblay or whatever.
Jacob Tremblay
in Knives Out.
Yeah.
Like he is a little Proud Boy freak. And I think Harry...
He's currently working for Doge.
Yes, he's big balls, 100%.
Oh, God.
I wish he had gotten carjacked and had the shit beat out of him in this movie. He is a little fascist.
Yeah, I mean, the family... John Lithgow is really... This is exactly like Reagan, the Reagan American family.
Yes,
not really deconstructed very much, except for, I think they were trying. Like, I think this is what counts as deconstructing that in 1987 for a family movie, because their values do get challenged, right? John Lithgow is his character. I mean, of course, we're also like kind of down on John Lithgow right now.
Well, yeah,
because of the Harry Potter thing.
He is a Nazi collaborator.
Yeah, we don't.
Wait, do we have to include John Lithgow? Is that part of
No, we don't.
Okay.
No. Of course, this was chosen a while ago, so I think even if it was said that we had to use John Lithgow, I think probably Cato would say, "Nah, it's okay. you can ditch Lithgow."
If we win over John Lithgow in the next election, then we will win. And that is, we must be courting the John Lithgows of the world. That is the Democratic stance. But without getting political, it did make me think that an interesting movie, because this is an E.T. alike, right? It's like
the whole thing is, a cool creature, cool special effect.
A cool creature gets brought into an American family and becomes part of the family, right? And it did make me think like of the idea of what if there was a movie like this where a cute, innocent, kind creature is adopted by like a just total nut job fascist family, like just completely right wing, and they like actually corrupt the animal into being evil. Like, I don't know if that's the angle we want to take for the Dark Universe.
I have a different idea, but
the idea of like a very gentle Bigfoot existing and then ending up in like a total right-wing nut job household until the Bigfoot is like going out with an AR-15 to like protest an abortion clinic.
All right.
I think it's very fun.
Let's talk about the themes here, because in addition to being like a slapstick fish out of water comedy, right? The first half of this movie to me is almost unwatchable in that it's just that. It's just, hey,
I'm fine with that.
We made this really good suit with a really good animatronic face. He's really likable. Let's have him be too big for things for an hour.
That's what I'm on board with. As soon as the plot kicked in, I was not interested.
I was really bored until the plot kicked in.
I just wanted to see Harry be big.
Here's why I kind of liked the plot. Because that's where, to me, I don't think every movie needs to be about something, but I actually indeed think every movie needs to be about something. And
which is something we'll talk about when we get to Star Trek Beyond soon.
Yeah. But the film becomes about our culture's instinctive desire to kill and categorize anything we don't understand or immediately recognize.
Yeah.
It's the instinct to hunt something or profit from it or commodify something when its mere presence is wonderful, right? I was about to jot down something to this effect when Lithgow's character, George Henderson, literally says, it's like we've become an enemy to anything wondrous. And I'm like, oh, okay. You actually just summarized it really perfectly in one line of dialogue.
In a kid's movie, you can state the theme.
You can do that.
It's always okay.
It's always all right to do that, right? They find this thing that represents nature, right? And wonder and things we don't understand and can't own, right? And what it does is it purifies them, the Hendersons, particularly George, whose first instinct was to kill or profit from him, right? I like that notion of something incorruptible entering your world, and instead of the exact opposite of what you were just pitching, and instead of us as humanity immediately corrupting that thing making us better, and then we have to give it back and try to believe that change, try to believe that change can survive in us, right? That thematically it resonated with me. It's still not a very good movie, but since our charge here is to take the things that we like and don't like about this movie and decide what stays, what goes, what we want to do with it, that spoke to me, and I thought of an interesting way to plant that idea in our Dark Universe.
Okay.
Do you want to hear about that?
I do.
Okay.
Of course.
So I want to
so do the people.
I want to place our Harry and the Hendersons in Phase 3 of our Dark Universe.
Okay.
So at this point,
lots of really fun things are happening for everybody.
Well, the main thing is, this is a point in time when everyone knows, or at least has heard, whether they believe it or not, the word is out that there are demons. People have seen them. There's photos. The city of Manaus in Brazil was fucked up by demons. There may only be one afterlife, and it's hell. And maybe our world was created by evil gods. And the unknown has never been more terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it's not starting from a position of neutral, and we just have to remember that we have, like our lizard brain makes us afraid of the unknown. Now our intellectual brain also has to be like, oh, anything we don't recognize from our world is probably trying to kill us. I want to tell basically the same arc of a story that this has, but with a different backdrop, which is, oh, we found Bigfoot, or maybe we're even looking for Bigfoot, because there's always been rumors of Bigfoot being up there in the Pacific Northwest, and now we have a reason to fear him, not just to be like, oh, people go out there looking for Bigfoot, they never find him. It's like, oh, shit, there probably is a Bigfoot, and he's probably a demon. If we don't kill him, he's going to kill us first. Let's go get Bigfoot.
Let's go get
Bigfoot.
Get him? That was your plan, Ray?
This family, this George Henderson or whatever, this family, and they could be a family of like, yeah, we hunt as a family. It's like part of our family tradition. What of it, right? They try to hunt and kill Bigfoot and are surprised to discover that they like him and that he means them no harm, which means something, I think, even more powerful in this context. Because if you are entering a scenario thinking everything supernatural is bad, and you find out that one supernatural thing is not bad, a logical person would then have to challenge their whole worldview, which is something that happens in this movie, just on like sort of a a less intense stakes, right?
Yes.
So then this becomes not just the stakes of, how we got to keep this guy a secret because he's eating everybody's flower beds and he's breaking our walls. Like, no, we found this thing and we have to protect it because anything with this kind of like anything we don't understand that's on our side could potentially help protect us from the other things that we know are trying to kill us. We need Bigfoot. We need Harry. It puts Harry in a position also he still has to be sweet and nice, but maybe he does at some point have to fight some demons or something. So we get some action and some horror stuff in our movie as our franchise usually has, without him having to do harm to people. Or maybe there are some people who could truly deserve it and he gives it. But I want it to be about, I guess in a way it could sort of be about heightened xenophobia during times of political upheaval, as well as just like when you're living in a constant state of fear, the draw of something hopeful that and what it can do to help you, and then how you have to protect that from people who would rather not be hopeful because they're fucking addicted to being afraid.
I wonder if there's a way. I'm almost wondering if setting it leading up to death's door would be interesting in that, like, there's sort of, especially as the things around the world start happening, like, we sort of get a Frankenstein angry mob forming to, like, kill
which we
Harry.
never did with our Frankenstein, so that's perfect.
Like, the townspeople in this small town have found out about Harry, and they're already not happy about it. But now they're like, shit's going down across the world. Harry must be part of it. We got to go kill this thing. They come and confront him, and then death's door opens. And, like, so not only... So the family goes from trying to protect Harry from the people. Then the demons come through, and then Harry protects them.
The family with the demon,
and takes them to the woods and sort of builds them a little safe haven. And, like, it doesn't even have to be as violent as, like, our Phase 4 movies or, like, a downer ending. It is, like, they go and we can find a way to, like, make it clear that they're going to be safe here with Harry. Like, Harry has figured out where to go that is safe. He has, like, maybe his little protected world. Maybe it's something that, like, the demons can't see them there. Maybe there is a magic thing happening, or maybe it's just at an elevation that, like, you know.
Yeah, it's out of the way. We've established, like, in, like, Smokey the Bandit and other stuff that, and later on in The Exorcist, that there can be enclaves that defend themselves, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's too heavy for, like, our
here's
sort of...
what I really like about it, though. Harry and the Hendersons is a fish-out-of-water comedy about the Sasquatch having to, like, being in suburbia, in suburban Seattle, right? And how, like, he doesn't really belong here, and he has to go home eventually, and a lot of kooky stuff happens. So, obviously, we have some of that in our version, but the resolution to the story isn't just he has to go back to his world and we have to go back to ours. It's he is repaying us, inviting him into our world, which is no longer safe for us, by inviting us to come and live in his world and showing us that we can belong there.
Yeah.
Some of this feeling might be coming from the fact that just like 12 hours ago, I finished reading Simplicity by Maddie Lipchansky. But,
great book. Everyone read
really
it.
Check out Maddie's new book.
It's Sloplicity Summer. Read Simplicity by Maddie Lipchansky, obviously friend of the show, and Sloppy by Rax King, also friend of the show. Both their books came out the same day.
Yeah. Anyway, that's where I'm coming from with this. That's what I would do with Harry and the Hendersons.
I think kind of a cool, actually, that would make this structure maybe make a little more sense is our end of Act 2 is the townsfolk kind of coming and the family realizing, like, bare minimum, like, it is too dangerous for Harry to be here. And John Lithgow having to do that, like, get out of here, no one wants you here, you know, kind of thing.
Get out of here! Can't you see we don't want you anymore?
You kind of do have to include that scene. Because it's the most famous scene from the movie. It has a whole 30 Rock thing.
Yeah. Like, I think he has to do that. And, like, we're
saying John Lithgow, by the way, but we're going to cast new people.
Yes.
George Henderson.
He's like, you got to get out of here. And we know it's because he's trying to just protect him from the people in the town. But Harry's genuinely kind of hurt and like walks off and goes home. Then death's door opens and these demons come out. And Harry, the first thing he does is come back for the family. And our third act is Harry coming to save them. So, like, all of our third act conflict is about keeping the family safe, while acts 1 and 2 have been about keeping Harry safe to the point where because also you want to end your act 2 on like the lowest point, right? And the lowest point is hurting Harry and getting him out of there. And then we bring them together in this big sort of action-packed climax,
Sounds great.
So who are we casting?
Well, I want a practical fucking Sasquatch for one thing.
We can just say practical Sasquatch, and we can get the tall guy that was in Alien Romulus.
I was thinking about Jonas, what's his name, who had been Chewbacca.
Oh, sure.
But, like, that's typecasting, I guess. We'll find... It doesn't even have to be one person, although I think it helps. I think that Kevin Peter Hall's performance of the body of Harry is really solid, and I would want to let one actor do that.
I know who I want for my John Lithgow.
Who is our George Henderson?
I want Eric Bogosian. He's in Uncut Gems. If I show you a picture, you'll recognize him. But more importantly,
I think I do know who you mean, but please show me a picture.
He is the interviewer in Interview with the Vampire. And I'm going to love casting my Interview with the Vampire people.
Sure, that's how casting works, Dalton. That's why people want to always be working, so they're always in front of casting directors' faces, and then they go to the movies.
He is basically, I think Amy said on the Discord, he is Anthony Bourdain in a different font.
Absolutely. That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah.
And that is way to go, Amy. It's a great way to describe Eric Bogosian.
And that's basically who he plays in Interview with the Vampire, is like a sort of older, jaded, journalist and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be great as sort of like, you could have him be like kind of a bitter, jaded old guy who then like his heart is warmed by Harry,
Okay. Do you have an idea of who we might pick to direct this movie? That's harder because this kind of movie just isn't made anymore.
Yeah.
So
who's making like live action family films right now?
You know who actually might be a good pick? Who I almost picked for a different movie and then I changed my mind. This is a slam dunk for David Lowery.
Ooh, I know the name.
David Lowery, best known for Grown Ups as the director of The Green Knight, but also
I think he was best known for directing the film Grown Ups, and I was like,
also did a Ghost Story, Old Man and the Gun, but Pete's Dragon and Peter Pan and Wendy. This is somebody who I was going to pick for a different project.
Right.
And I ended up going with a different... I think I was going to do Field of Dreams for him and went with James Mangold instead. You know what? We've had meetings. They've gone well. Let's ask David Lowery.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd be great for this.
I don't know if we need to cast the whole family, but do we want to cast, like, the Bigfoot hunter?
Oh, yes. We didn't even talk about that when we were summarizing it, because there was also in the original...
the Bigfoot hunter.
Okay. I wasn't paying attention, I guess. Somebody to hunt the Bigfoot. God, 10 years ago, I actually would have picked John Malkovich. Now he's a little too old for the part, I think. I was thinking about somebody who's really good at being intense in a way that's kind of funny. Like, this is a dramatic actor who's playing someone intense, but, like, the intensity itself is kind of, get real, dude.
You know who it should be?
Who should it be?
It should be fucking David Harbour.
David Harbour would be good.
David Harbour could also be the dad, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I think him as the hunter would be fun. Yeah. David Harbour could also be like the expert, the Bigfoot expert that they find.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Like, that was a character I liked a lot. But I feel like the situation we've created doesn't even demand a Bigfoot hunter.
That's true. That's true. Like, that's not part of our story.
We don't really need one in our story.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking forgot, though. I wrote this down in my notes. If we were going to have that figure in our movie, I thought the villain of the piece should be Adelaide Van Helsing.
Oh.
That would be like a good Dark Universe connection. Now we have a firm Dark Universe connection.
And unfortunately, she is dead by the time Death's Door opens.
Yeah, but we don't need the hunter.
She's kind of dead. She's taken over by Seth.
Like, if we were going to put it earlier in Phase 3, it could be her. We never really got the opportunity to use Adelaide herself as a villain who was completely at odds with all of our heroes. Yeah. And so that would be a cool opportunity. But where we've placed it in the timeline, it can't be her. And we don't need that antagonist. Society is the bad guy here.
Yeah.
There's a number of characters that can represent.
You could have like that one character that kind of riles people up, and that could be David Harbour or someone like that.
Sure.
But I really like Eric Bogosian as the dad, and then having still a practical Sasquatch, and having it be about this sort of ramping up of fear of the unknown, and then having the unknown being the thing that saves the only people in this town that survive. Everyone in the town is basically helpless except for this family because they trusted something they weren't familiar with.
I just like the idea of when faced with a terrifying unknown, being willing to accept that another unknown rather than just the past might be something that can save you. The future might not be something you recognize from the past. A thing I think about a lot when trying to explain socialism to people. So we're going to throw to a break. During this break, you guys can check out, I was recently on an episode of original podcast Do Not Steal.
Oh,
this
great.
is my third episode of the show. I
Shout
have
out
so
to the
much
homies.
fun every time I'm on there with Devin and Amber. And this time, we workshopped a character for Batman comics that I really, really like. And if I ever got the opportunity to do a Batman comic, I would immediately ask if it was okay for me to use this character. I really like what we came up with.
You actually can't. It's in the title of the podcast, Dylan. You cannot steal anything that you do on their podcast.
I could pay some of. I want to do. We'll work something out with the homies.
Let Dylan write a Batman.
I would love to. Every writer has a Batman in them. Now I feel like I have one. Took 3 of us to come up with the idea, but here's a clip from that episode. We'll be right back.
What if there were, like, another parental figure, right? If all of these are supposed to be surrogate daughters for Bruce Wayne, like, I'm not even saying, like, a love interest for Bruce Wayne, but, like, somebody else who in another way can, like, take a metaphorically co-parenting role, and what does that say for Bruce when suddenly these, like, people who he's trying to caretake become a shared responsibility instead of a sole responsibility?
There are some examples, but not any definitive examples of Batman characters who kind of can step in to play a parental role to members of the Bat family in a way that maybe does not mesh perfectly with Batman. And the idea of somebody who can be the nicer parent to Batman's disciplinarian, somebody who actually tries to understand them and is willing to be demonstrative about their feelings, could potentially put a real wedge in the family that in a way that Devin, correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think of a character that specifically served that role before.
Welcome back. We've got some water.
We've relieved ourselves.
It's time for the final Trek's Education and Dalterion Collection. Now, for those of you wondering what comes next, or if you're unfamiliar, because this is on the main feed, for the last 14 months, I have been watching every single Star Trek movie, including Galaxy Quest, which is why it's 14, 1 month at a time, while Dylan has been watching a selection of art house or prestige cinema films that I have handpicked. And we have talked about them and given our reactions, trading them back and forth. Next month, we will instead be having a little break month where Dylan will be taking the Kogiati live on air. For those that don't know, the Kogiati is an early internet test to determine whether or not you are a transsexual.
Get ready to be very disappointed, everybody.
You're not going to be disappointed because the test is insane. It is, by no means does it determine whether or not you're a transsexual. One of the questions is like, are you on HRT? I think that's maybe the only question you have to ask. Hey, are you trans? Yes. Okay, test over.
That's not even, that is
not
the only.
That you have to be on HRT to be trans.
There is, we'll talk about this more for sure next month, but there's only one relevant question to ask. It's like, hey, buddy, are you trans? Yes or no?
No,
that's the only answer you need.
The Kogiati, not that you have to be on HRT to be trans, to be clear. I am not on HRT. But it is a very insane test. We took it on the Discord recently, and we're going to have Dylan take it live on air. We're going to see what the results are.
Well, I'm prepared to have a deep discussion about my relationship with gender nonetheless.
I don't care about that. I just want to hear your your responses to these funny questions. And then after that, we are going to be reversing. We're going to do the Dalterion, where you are going to select some films for me to watch that I haven't seen. And I'm going to make you watch a bunch of Hammer horror, Vincent Price, like pulpy 60s horror.
I'm so excited for this for 2 reasons. One, because I would really enjoy watching. I've seen almost no Hammer horror movies.
Yeah.
I will have seen fewer Hammer horror movies proportionally than you had seen Star Trek movies before we began this thing, right? Because the field is much larger. But also because I'm really tired of being the one bringing the weaker movie in month after month.
I was thinking about, like, the movies I'm going to show you, I think the most is you will think they like maybe a couple of them are pretty good.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that even as a lifelong Trekkie, I don't think most Star Trek movies are great. Most Star Trek fans don't think most Star Trek movies are great. And the whole thing, my frustration from the very beginning, as soon as we dove into this project, is, fuck, I really wish I talked you into doing like episodes from the shows. Because then I could be way more selective and pick like 14 great episodes from the literally 850, maybe 900 episodes they have now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Instead, at least we didn't have to do Section 31 because that movie fucking bites and I'm never talking about it again.
Hammer movies are just my comfort movies, so that's why it's a good reversal.
And now
they
I get to pick.
Fine.
I get to pick stuff because like you have pretty esoteric art house taste in some way, but some of these were like big gaps for me as someone who like loves film. Weird that I'd never seen the Before trilogy. Yeah. Right?
Big regret of mine is that we did not get to Barbarella. I really wanted to make you watch Barbarella.
I'm going to watch that anyway.
Yeah, Barbarella's great.
But now I get to pick things that are like, I like a lot of 70s New Hollywood stuff that you apparently haven't seen. These are movies that would be like, for me, these are movies like my dad showed me. And then some indie movies from my time as a film critic that I got to see that nobody saw that I can share with you.
I have never seen The Godfather.
We're going to be doing The Godfather.
Yeah.
In fact, that should probably be what we start with.
Yeah.
Especially since you've seen Michael Clayton. So, all right. But for now, we are finishing our original movie challenge cycle. Yeah. Beginning with Trek's Education. Dalton, this is the one I was most excited for you to see.
Yes.
Because from the get-go, I knew the only one of the JJ-verse movies, Kelvin-verse movies you hadn't seen was Star Trek Beyond, and I was convinced it would be the one that you liked the most. Was I right?
No.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I've been asking for a very specific kind of Star Trek movie from the beginning. And this stems from when I first saw Star Trek 2009, which was my first exposure to Star Trek. I saw it in theaters. And as soon as it ended, I was like, I want to see more. I want to see where they go. Now I know who the crew is. I want to see them out in outer space, having adventures with shit I've never seen before. And then we've talked about this. They end up coming back to Earth for Into Darkness. They redo a lot of, just like Wrath of Khan redoes a lot of the motion picture of like, we got to get the team together and go out. And like Kirk gets promoted and then demoted and then promoted again and all this stuff. Star Trek Beyond, they are 3 years into their 5-year journey. They still have to have kind of an Earth for them. They like build like an Earth outpost that can be threatened.
It's fucking dope.
It's fine. It's fine. I understand why they do it for stake reasons.
I also love Mass Effect.
Yes, it is cool looking. But they are out in space. They end up going beyond where they can be contacted by Starfleet, and they crash land on a planet. And I love like the Enterprise getting destroyed within the first 30 minutes. Very cool. Lots of great action set pieces here. It is exactly the kind of Star Trek that I've been looking for, except it's pretty stupid. This is a movie that's not about anything. Which
that's not true. It's just very clumsy about the thing that it's about. But go on. I'll come back around.
I could not figure out I know what it says it's about at the end, and it says it's about not directly, but it seems to want to be about Kirk and Spock both individually remembering why they want to be part of Starfleet and doing the trekking of stars. I don't think that is actually informed by anything that happens in the movie other than them stating that they have a desire to leave at the beginning and then that they don't at the end.
Yeah, the only journey they're going on in that sense is that because we as an audience are having fun, we are then projecting that fun back on. And it seems the characters seem to be having fun too, but it's really our fun that they're responding to, because for them this is sort of just like, big harrowing shit. Yeah. But Kirk got to ride a motorcycle, so I guess he remembers he's having fun now.
Which one of the worst CGI shots I've ever seen in a movie, when he is riding with Sofia Boutella on his back, and it's like the overhead shot. Really,
not one of the better effects.
Really bad looking.
But it's a fun conceptual action piece.
Yes.
This is, when Justin Lin was announced as the director for this movie, I was still in my Fast and Furious hating phase. And I was like, oh God. And a lot of Star Trek fans were like, oh no. The Fast and Furious guy, we were already complaining these movies were too stupid.
Yeah.
The thing is that I think that he brought out all of the fun things in Star Trek without having to really project any fun things that aren't in Star Trek.
Yeah.
This is Star Trek's first motorcycle chase, but
It's got a cool sci-fi twist on it.
It's got a cool sci-fi twist to it.
It's informed by Kirk's history when the first Star Trek.
It feels
2009.
This is a Star Trek also that though it utilizes in its backstory for the villains and for the USS Franklin and whatever. It utilizes some backstory from Enterprise, the only Star Trek show from the Prime universe that's still canon in this universe because the timelines converge after Enterprise. So that's in both universes. But other than that, this movie feels like it's not trying to be about previous Star Trek. This is a movie that is a sequel to the previous Star Trek movies in this series.
And I like that about it.
Yeah, it seems like they finally kind of got their pace, and then this movie underperformed at the box office, and it took them forever to make another one, and they still haven't made it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they decided not to make it about any previous Star Trek movie. They also didn't decide to make it about this Star Trek movie.
Okay, here's what this movie is trying to be about. It doesn't do a very good job at it.
Okay.
So the villain of this piece, Kral, played by Idris Elba.
Looking like fucking Ivan Ooze.
Yes, extremely, bro. Idris Elba's character, we're spoiling this, by the way, turns out to be the captain of an old early Federation ship.
You cannot believe how hard I rolled my eyes.
Yeah. And
this
his
is
whole
such
thing,
a classic. I feel like I've only watched the movies, and I feel like I've seen this
such a classic
5
Star
times.
Trek. Yeah, a classic Star Trek twist. Turns out he's actually from our past, our character's past, from a time before humanity really learned to work together with other species. He was part of the rough adjustment period.
This is basically the Khan. It's Khan. I mean, from Into Darkness.
Kind of, sort of, but kind of, sort of, yeah. I mean,
they kind of just did this thing.
Yeah, but the notion of this was like the idea. This movie came out in 2016, right? And so I think what this movie is trying to do is cope with something that they deal with in Star Trek 6 much better, which is the idea of living on the threshold from one part of history to another part of history that a lot of people thought we were going into during the Obama administration, is that we were about to enter this sort of post-racial America, and people were struggling to get on board with that and didn't want to face it, and so were willing to do anything to make it go back to where they thought the world made sense. Kral is from a time in Star Trek's history when humanity didn't have their shit worked out yet. They were in space, but they weren't like the better people that Kirk and company are trying to be and better at being than we are now, right? Yeah. Star Trek's future is supposed to be aspirational for humanity, and the Enterprise era is sort of in between. They don't give you, a viewer that doesn't watch Star Trek, enough of that to understand what his character's supposed to mean. He just tells it to you.
He tells it to you, and it feels like an afterthought. Like all the stuff with Idris Elba, I think he does a great job. I like his alien voice.
He's always a good actor.
He's a great actor. He do look like Ivan Ooze. The bad guys in this just kind of look like
Beetleborgs,
like Ghost Rider, all those kind of like
drone
kids.
army that is like just a bunch of humanoid robots that look like kind of cool in a generic action figure kind of way.
But it's also kind of Power Ranger.
It provides a cop out that anytime that the good guys are shooting to kill somebody, it's not actually a person. So
there's also like
it's battle droids.
The double-edged sword of when sabotage kicks in.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yes.
It's hard to disagree with that song. That's why it works in 2009.
And that is the moment also that is the only part of the movie that really sells Kirk realizing he loves this job.
Yes.
Let's make some noise. That's a good choice.
It's a moment that recalls his rambunctious youth, like the moment we meet him as an audience, as an audience in Star Trek 2009 is when he's listening to Sabotage and drives that car off the cliff.
That is a genuinely fun callback. However, I was groaning so hard at the convoluted machinations they have to put in to make it happen. They're like, well, it's a drone army. Well, they're kind of like bees, which means no, they respond individually. So if we disrupt their patterns and we need a loud enough thing, but we have to be close to it. So what if we get we have a radio here. We have they bend over backwards to set
so
up
hard,
this set piece. It is absolutely because they set up this awesome action set piece at the beginning where all the drones are destroying the Enterprise. Very cool. And then they're like, okay, we need to get from this to sabotage. Let's how much jargon can we put in here to just try to make that make sense? And it's like, honestly, just do it. I don't even care why.
Well,
just do
I gotta
it.
tell you, in theaters, I wasn't thinking about it that hard. I was just fucking enjoying myself.
Yeah, it is. I was prepared to roll my eyes once this, because I kind of knew it was coming because I saw people online posting about the sabotage sequence. So once the radio was introduced, I was like, I kind of see what's happening here. And so I was prepared to kind of like hate it. And then once it kicks in, it's like, but the song is great.
And
it
Chris
is very
Pine's
fun.
just little, like, his little boyish smile returning to his face. Pine is so good in these movies.
The cast is great in general, but Pine especially is really good.
In all three of these, I find Spock to be really overwritten. Like, their shortcut to writing Spock is to have him use 38 words anytime he could be using 18.
Yeah.
And Quinto is good. Character's a little overwritten. But this whole cast is just fucking, they're just all eating in this. It's really good.
It's kind of disappointing that we're 3 movies in and I feel like I've never spent time with Sulu at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's welcome to the entire original series of Star Trek.
That's fair. Same thing with Anton Yelchin, rest in peace. You know, he just gets to be kind of like hyperactive kid. There's like just members of the crew where it's like, you think in 3 movies we could spend a little more time, but it's fine.
They get little moments, and that's really all they ever get on the show too.
So it was fun. It had a lot of sequences I thought were genuinely fun. I like some of the crazy sci-fi stuff, like the dust that turns solid. Cool idea.
And they never have to explain it, and I like that too.
Yeah, you don't have to explain that stuff. Sophia Boutella killing another franchise. I'm sorry, girl. Like
she's so fun in this.
Not that she's killing it, but she's just
writing,
on a bad streak of being in a universe that ends as soon as she gets involved.
This I guess is patient zero, isn't it? She did this last Star Trek movie. She did The Mummy. Last Dark Universe movie, she did Rebel Moon. Didn't take off.
Yeah, sorry,
I don't
Sophia.
know if they had plans to do sequels to Atomic Blonde, but that never happened.
Yeah.
Jayla, everybody was assuming, she's gonna be back. She'll be a new recurring character. Though this movie ends with her going to the academy.
Yeah.
And so when I took my swing at writing a Star Trek 4, I called it Star Trek 4 Tomorrow. And I only got about 30 pages in, but I had an arc for her.
You got 30 pages in, so you were halfway through Act 1?
Fuck off! Simon Pegg at Star Trek Las Vegas, a convention just this past weekend, had planned actually sort of a spinoff for her, like a miniseries or something, where the idea was that she was going to be in this sort of rambunctious group of cadets who get stranded somewhere. I'm like, I want to see that. She's great. She's way too old to do that now. I don't think I can read her as a teen now.
Yeah.
But Sultan, you said you finalized your Star Trek rankings.
I have finalized my Star Trek
and
rankings.
You have 2 separate rankings. You have what you think the best to worst movies are, but also a different and contrary list of movies I remember to movies I least remember.
Yes. I'm so glad this is on the main feed because it is going to make everyone angry. No one's going to trust me when I talk about movies ever again. This is my official ranking of the Star Trek film franchise. Number 1, Galaxy Quest.
That is correct.
Number 2, Star Trek 2009.
Yeah, no argument.
I wanted to put Beyond above it, but 2009, it's got an arc to it. It's what it does really well.
It hits really hard.
Yeah. Number 3 on the ranking, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
Good pick.
Number 4, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock.
Okay.
Number 5, Star Trek Beyond.
So far, none of this is super inflammatory. I got to tell you, I think you oversold this.
Okay. Number 6, Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country.
Okay.
Number 7, Star Trek Nemesis.
Fuck off.
Number 8, Star Trek Insurrection. Number 9, Star Trek First Contact. Number 10, Star Trek Generations.
You know what? The TNG movies all being in the middle of the pack makes sense. The order is insane, but them all being in the middle is fine.
11, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid.
Number 12, Star Trek Into Darkness. Number 13, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. And number 14, Star Trek The Motion Picture.
Yeah, I forgot about, when you're listing the ones that are on there, I forgot to I forgot that you just feel nothing for Wrath of Khan at all.
I feel nothing for Wrath of Khan.
Insurrection above Wrath of Khan is fucking madness. Nemesis is a movie that I think is kind of awful, but it has a flavor, right? Insurrection is fine in that it's a manila wafer of a movie, and that really being ranked above any movie that's good is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's hear the other one, Dalton. What movies do you remember and which ones do you not remember?
So looking back, this is the ranking in the order of how much I remember what happens in these movies. Number 1, Star Trek 2009. Makes sense. I've seen it twice. Number 2, Galaxy Quest. Makes sense. I've seen it twice. Number 3, Star Trek Beyond. I just watched it last night. It's still number 3 on the list. I don't think I could tell you some parts of it. Number 4, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. I remember going back in time, the whales.
It stands out very well. It's nothing like the other ones.
Number 5, Star Trek Into Darkness. A little damning considering I have also seen this one twice. Number 6, Star Trek The Motion Picture. Even though it's bottom of my list, I remember V'ger. I remember the long shots of the models. I remember some of the wonky effects when they're in the little pods and the light show in space as they enter the cloud or whatever. Maybe that doesn't happen. I don't know.
It does.
Number 7, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Damning. I've seen it twice. Number 8, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Even though it is number 4 on my list, I only remember a couple things, and one of them is teenage Spock having sex for the first time. Number 9, Star Trek First Contact. I remember the Borg.
It's so weird that's low on your list. Like, to me, it should stand out because A, it has the Borg, the only one that has the Borg in it, and also that it has like the whole different time travel plot that goes to our future that's their past. That's your inability to connect with that movie is the one that really like confuses me.
Maybe I'll see it another time at some point. Number 10, Star Trek Generations. I remember Kirk and Picard.
Sure.
Now, these 4 are the ones, if you put a gun to my head, I could not tell you a single thing about them.
Well, let's put that to the test. I happen to have brought one with me.
I do not remember anything about these films. Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country.
That sucks, man.
This is number 6 on my list, by the way. So I know that I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one this is.
This is the one where I have like the original theatrical poster on the wall of my bedroom. Like that's like a top 3 for me. It's so weird. It's so weird to me the people that
I liked it.
Sure.
I must have. I don't remember what it's about or what happens in it. Number 12, Star Trek Nemesis.
Yeah, sure.
But it's number 7 on my list. I remember having fun during it, but don't remember anything about it.
Medium movies do tend to be less memorable than really good or really bad.
Star Trek Insurrection. Also don't remember anything about it. Also number 8 on my list. So number 6, 7, and 8 on my list, don't remember. And then Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. It is my second to least favorite. Don't remember anything about it. So Star Trek's 5 and 6 just slid off me.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a long road getting from there to here.
And that's Trek's education, baby.
We hope. What are your Star Trek rankings? This is going to be on YouTube. Leave us some comments.
Look, if I told you
on Spotify or wherever else you listen to it, let us know what your Star Trek movie rankings are. You may or may not include Galaxy Quest, as is your want. I would include it.
Do you remember anything about Halloween 5 and 6?
It's from the Thorn trilogy.
Yep.
Halloween 6 is the one where no.
That's the one with Paul Rudd in it.
Oh yeah. Okay. And Halloween 5 is the one where I actually think I liked it more than I expected. And there's no, not very well.
Yeah. See,
not very well at all.
All right, let's move on to Dalterion because we have to go to the movies.
That's
soon.
right. We're going to go see Weapons.
Weapons.
We'll probably talk about it next time we're here. So there haven't been 8 more movies we want to talk about. All right. So for the final installment of the Dalterion Collection, Dalton, you chose The Wicker Man.
I thought this would be
original Wicker Man.
The original Wicker Man. I thought this would be a good transitional movie because it does star Christopher Lee, a Hammer main actor. But this is not a Hammer film, but it is a classic horror film, specifically in the folk horror tradition. Dylan, what did you think of The Wicker Man?
I'm going to spoil the end of this segment. I think this is my favorite movie that you assigned in this
Really?
collection.
Out of all of them?
I
wow.
think it's possible. Obviously, when I make these
Even
charts,
All That Jazz.
I loved All That Jazz, but there are things when I was watching All That Jazz being like, I feel like I need another go at it to really feel like I talked about how I feel like the ending drags a little bit, right? And I love the whole Before trilogy. And there may be some recency bias here, but The Wicker Man is a movie that I loved on every level that I could observe.
I really wish I had time to rewatch it. I love this movie. I have the 4K special edition. I need to rewatch it soon anyway. So unfortunately, I won't be able to like remember specifics, but tell me what you loved about it.
Okay, so The Wicker Man, for those of you who don't know, because especially if you're only familiar with the American remake with Nicolas Cage that people only watch because Nicolas Cage's performance is fucking bonkers, you don't know necessarily what the movie's about because the plots are also different.
Yeah.
The Wicker Man is about a detective from a police officer in the Scottish Highlands investigating the disappearance of a girl on an island that, to his shock, he discovers has a completely different culture than he's aware of. They are all rooted in sort of old Scottish paganism, and he is very Christian. It is an incredible culture shock that over time, what's driving him crazy isn't so much that no one wants to give him a straight answer about what happened to this little girl, but they don't respect his God. He's never been in a scenario where the roots of his worldview are not the default position for everyone around him.
Yeah.
And the specifics of the religion he's not fond of because they're contrary. But really, it's just the notion that these children have not been raised with Christ.
Yeah.
This whole, for generations, there have not been Christians here. And he can't handle it. Like, that's what's making him crazy about the place.
And not only that, they don't respect his authority.
No, they don't.
They don't respect him as a god.
No, they don't. And like, he's an extension of the crown, which he's the most Anglican man of all time. He looks like Daniel Craig's uncle. He's going through this investigation. The mystery is kind of cool because it keeps folding back new layers of information. And every time he folds back new layers of information, everyone in the town seems to simultaneously change their story to fit the new set of facts. So you have this big conspiracy, right? But the fact that the mystery is sort of like not even like it drives the plot and it makes you curious, but that's not what's good about the movie. That's not really the story you're following. You're following, like, you're learning about this culture that is all like unashamed about sex and nudity, is super attached to like the earth, and is kind of, with the exception of Christopher Lee as the man, the lord of the island, is generally anti-authoritarian. It is really funny. Once again, I watched this and then 3 days later read Simplicity by Maddie Lipchansky, which cites this movie as an influence in the acknowledgments page. So there's that level of it, right? There's also, it's really pretty.
Yes.
The soundtrack is essentially a musical, right? Because there's a lot of diegetic music of characters singing songs in ways that sort of set the stage for scenes or advance the plot.
And on that tree there was a limb, and on that limb there was a branch, and on that branch there was a nest, and in that nest there was an egg.
And the music's all to my liking. I mean, not all of the music, because some of it's kind of boring Scottish folk music, but most of it's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you like Simon and Garfunkel, then you're fine. A lot of it's more exciting than that. It is very horny, a thing that I often appreciate in movies, and it's also anti-capitalist. I don't want to give away too much of the game, but it really does examine the utility of religion to industry, and that was really cool. But Christopher Lee is fantastic in it, in a very different mode than he is in a lot of his sort of like still authority figure characters. He's kind of joyful and lively in this, and he's super fun. And he weirdly looks like Scott Bakula to me in it. Dracula as Scott Bakula.
Scott Dracula.
You get to hear a guy say the word murder a lot in a Scots accent, which is one of the best accents in which to say the word murder.
You suspect foul play?
I suspect murder and conspiracy to murder.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of that Star Trek episode where Kirk is scandalized to arrive on a planet where no one is horny. It is a perfect mirror image to that Star Trek episode, which I'm sure was totally on purpose. And like, it gets more insane as you go. This is clearly Ari Aster's favorite movie of all time.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not even a straight line between this and Midsommar. Midsommar is practically a remake.
Yes. It is thrilling. It is funny. It is intellectually stimulating. And there's some fucking in it, which I'm not going to complain about.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about the fucking that's happening in it.
There's
no higher calling for cinema.
That's right. It is a necessary sex scene.
Yes, that's right. Critics of sex scenes. You need all of it.
I was looking at Jamel Bowie, who is the only good New York Times columnist, if you think that can exist. But Jamel Bowie has a great review of this on Letterboxd where he talks about the richness of the text. Mm-hmm. And he says, you can read this film as about the conflict between paganism and Christian religion, of the Christian struggle to retain faith in a secular society. You can read it as a film about danger of groupthink or a dramatization of the violence that underpins even the most idyllic societies. You can read it as a cautionary tale about the fascistic impulses within Romanticism, and you can read it as a film about the conflict between capitalist modernity, embodied in the police officer, who represents the state's capacity for violence and its demand for conformity and order, and pre-capitalist modes of living. You can also read it, on a similar level, as representing the conflict between a Weberian legal authority versus a traditional charismatic authority, the latter represented by Christopher Lee as Lord Summerisle. It even works in its final scenes as a commentary on the present moment in American politics. It's just, there's so many levels it works on.
It all works, and none of it's in conflict with each other. It's everything is in perfect concert.
And nor does it feel like dense in a way that is academic or anything.
No, it fucking moves.
It's just fun. It's fun.
It is both a textbook and a vibes movie.
Yeah.
It is. Oh God, it's basically, I'm watching it and like other than a couple of things in the soundtrack being like, I'm a little bored by this particular piece of music. It's perfect. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
It was a perfect way to cap off the series. Fucking loved it. It's a movie I'm going to go back and watch, I'm sure, a number of times over the next couple of years. And Metal Devil.
Great film.
Great film.
Watch it every May Day.
You know, that sounds a great idea. Maybe I'll alternate between that and Midsummer every May Day.
So do we have a ranking? The official Dalterion ranking.
I have already done it. I don't have to do it the last minute this time. My final ranking for the Dalterion Collection. As you know, I like to go from bottom to the top, but since I've already spoiled that, we will go top to bottom this time. Number 1, The Wicker Man.
Wow.
But these top 4
Big
are
upset.
all really, really tight, as they have been from the beginning. But number 2, Before Sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, All That Jazz.
Mm.
Number 4, Before Sunrise.
Yeah.
Mood depending, any one of those could be number 1.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm in the Wicker Man mood.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Audition. Number 6, Breathless. Number 7, Wings of Desire. Number 8, Mikey and Nikki. Number 9, Memories of Murder. Love all those movies. Number 10, Sorcerer. Number 11, A Woman Under the Influence. Number 12, Before Midnight. This is sort of the section of movies I respect more than I love.
Sure.
Like them.
Yeah.
But I appreciate them on a level. Now we're into the ones that are sort of one that's sort of unclassifiable, which is number 13, House.
Fair.
I feel like I neither like nor dislike the movie. I just like, what the fuck? Cool.
It is what it is.
I am fascinated. And then there's the one where I'm not interested, which is number 14, Night on Earth.
Night on Earth, yeah.
Just didn't do anything for me.
That is a fascinating ranking. That is not the ranking I would have guessed that you would have put things in at the beginning of this, but that
gives me an idea. Yeah. Okay, so when we select, I guess this time we don't have a finite amount for your series, right? So we should decide how long the next series is going to go. And then when we select our movies, we'll pick them all in advance. And we will write down predictions of how we think they're going to rank. And we get to the end of the series, we will then and only then compare those lists.
That's a good idea. We could do that. We'll just have to pick ahead of time.
And if we want to, even, we could publish the sequence of movies ahead of time so that our audience can make those predictions before. Which would perhaps incentivize more of you to watch the movies we're recommending.
Yes,
we follow some of you. Some of you have in the Letterboxd channel of our Discord automatic notifications when you watch a movie. We know what you're watching and what you're not watching.
And you're not watching the Dalterion.
You should have watched the Dalterion Collection. If we don't see people watching the Wicker Man in that channel,
come on, you gotta see the Wicker Man.
It is so fucking good. It's on Tubi right now. You don't even have to pay for it.
It's literally on Poob. Anyway, main feed listeners, we hope you enjoyed this.
Yeah, that judgment wasn't for any of you. We're not stalking any of you. Or rather, you haven't volunteered to put a live feed of every movie you're watching into directly under our noses. But yes, weird relationship we have with our listeners.
We hope you've enjoyed this month-long peek into the bonus pod. You can get these once a month over at patreon.com/Dylan and Dalton. And speaking of which, we should shout out the patrons.
Yeah, the following people are included in the people that we meant to shame at the end of our last segment. Executive producers. These are people who are contributing to the show on a $15 a month level and thus by themselves a little shout out at the end of everything we record during their time at that tier. Special thanks to Brent Dreyer, Brian Egan, Mar Bendlar, Matt Thackeray, Soonmot, Mike Lee Whiplash. Those are our executive producers. Thank you so much for supporting our show. And a big shout out to our studio executives. These are the folks who have contributed at $25 a month. And by going there for just 1 month, you get to put your name on the queue for picking a studio mandate on this show. Thank you so much to Alyssa, the Pazuzu apologist, Bill French, Beerus, Denim Mudslide, Jasper Stark, Joe Valiant, Jonathan Morgantini, Moose, Rich Mays, and Tom Webster. We really appreciate your continued support. Thank you so much for everything you help us to do, making this show possible.
We are going to be back
September 7th.
September 7th. Okay, I don't know how many weeks that is, but September 7th, we will be back launching the first episode of a brand new universe that we want you all there for. So please join us on September 7th. We're going to have a big announcement to make. We are going to be announcing our entire Phase 1 slate. We're going to be giving you log lines. We're going to give you a whole... I know we've been making you wait.
You're going to get a lot on day one.
A lot of stuff on day one, including, I think we're hoping to have a trailer for the first movie.
Yeah, one of the things
episode.
that we're going to be doing is we're hoping to have... I won't say too much about that.
Yes.
But yes, there will be a trailer for our first installment at the end of episode 1. At the end of our first installment.
Yes. So join us back here on September 7th. And until then, stay afraid of...